You too. How y'all doing? LeBron James goes off on toxic women and Ayesha Curry for disrespecting Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Apparently there's more drama going on with the whole Steph and Ayesha Curry. You know what I mean? Let's see what's going on, bruh.
Listen, I sit in the locker room, I'm in locker rooms and shit now, but it's a lot of women out here that's now kind of flipped the script.
They go for it.
And some homies out here that's trying to be good too and just, trying to figure it out. And now they looking in the mirror saying, damn, what did I do wrong? Homies, it ain't you. Because it's some cutthroat, ruthless ass out here right now too.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Yo, the day when this nigga LeBron retires, bro. Hey, man, bro. Hey, clap it up for LeBron, man. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't like the nigga, you gotta at least respect him. You gotta at least respect LeBron, bro. You know what I mean? He probably is gonna retire soon, though. The nigga like 40, old ass.
It's your girl Riva, and I'm back again with another video. So, most recently, NBA star, which I think even that title kind of would not do it justice, but LeBron James actually ended up making an appearance on his wife's podcast.
Okay.
And during the conversation, they talked about various different things.
His wife got a podcast? LeBron's wife got a podcast? I had no idea that his wife had a fucking podcast, bro.
Conversations are very much like based off of the flow that they get in from callers. And there was a lot of things that he touched on, but one moment in particular in which he basically had called a lot of these women out here in these streets out.
Yo, and this nigga had Kai and Phantom on their fucking shit, bruh. Them niggas have came a long fucking way as well, bro. You know what I mean? Hey, man.
Okay. And it was under my own assumption and impression that maybe there was a little bit of conversation in regards to what's going on right now with the Steph and Ayesha conversation.
Okay.
We're going to go ahead and break it down. So I'm going to go ahead and insert clips and then give you guys my thoughts, my feelings, and my opinions on this entire
I already seen the little shit going on with them.
Together.
Hi, what's your name? Where are you from? And what's your crazy?
And my name is Jess Douglas, and I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. And my crazy is anything.
You in a relationship?
Well, I dumped him.
You dumped? Why y'all broke up?
I don't know. It wasn't going anywhere. It was like 30 years of like
30 years.
30
So
years.
as we can see,
damn, bro. 30 fucking years. Damn.
On the panel, it was Kai Cenat as well as Phantom and Taco there, and they were having like a guys edition of the podcast.
Nice.
And so they had the caller in, and the caller came in and basically said, what's your crazy? She said anything, and then talked about how she dumped a guy after being in a relationship with him for 30 years.
Okay.
So this then spawned a conversation during the podcast in which the one of the hosts actually asked a question to Kai Cenat, and that question was, do you know that the person or a girl that you're dating is the right one right away?
Got a question. How quickly do you know when it ain't going nowhere? Like 30 days? First day. First day? Yes. No. Like first day meetup. Like first date, you'll know.
Oh, first date. Oh yeah, for sure.
First date.
First date.
So this then sparked the conversation of, that a lot of men know, and we've heard this a numerous amount of times, that men know from their first, one-on-one interaction with you if you are somebody.
I think it takes more than the first date. I'm not gonna lie. I would say at least 2 or 3. The give, you know what I mean? The 2 or 3 one-on-ones. Let's see. You know what I mean? Yes, first date is important, but I think at least 2 or 3. You know what I mean?
That they can put into what category?
Because some girls, they like a ghost. One minute they one person, the next minute they, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Right? If you are in the category of sleep with, if you are in the category
that's
of
just me though.
If you are in the category of wife, girlfriend, potential, like friend zone, they know based off of their observations.
Not all guys do though. Not all guys really know. Not all guys know. I'm sorry, you guys, but a lot of guys, they don't know. You know what I mean? They really don't. That's why I say 2 or 3 dates. 2 or 3. And then see if we gonna, you know what I mean?
In a first date kind of setting, whatever, situation that might be, if you are a potential suitor, wife, mother of their kids from that first meeting.
But you feel like you can know you're going to be with somebody on the first date?
100%. Forever?
No.
Not forever. No. That you know what I mean? I guess You know what? You know what? On the first date, you could tell if a girl's gonna be at least long term, you know, dateable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know gonna be forever.
You don't know first date forever. But you know you can go you don't know forever. Yeah.
So again, naturally, they all gave their responses as to, you know, LeBron James and Kai Cenat being the two people who are actively in, you know, long-term relationships. All, you know, we know that LeBron is married and Kai Cenat is in a long-term relationship with his now girlfriend.
Yeah.
And so, you know, they were saying, you know, it's just an innate thing that men are aware of. This then, you know, sparked conversation with the host to ask, okay, well, how do people know when relationships should be over?
Yeah.
How do you know when it's over?
When it's completely over?
You know what? You know what? How do you know if you feel like you have to put in more effort just to keep the relationship going? I think that's when the relationship is over. The minute, like, as a guy, that you put more effort compared to her and she's putting less effort than what she used to, the relationship is over for sure. Like, that's just what it is, bro. I'm gonna be honest. What do you want? What do you want it for? You kitty. Oh, little kitty. Oh, little kitty. How you doing, baby girl? How you doing? Oh, yes. Yeah, I see you. I know. My cats, you know. What's up? Yeah. What? What? Oh, yeah. You want to play? You want to play? Hold on. I'll be right back, y'all. Yeah, but I'm not going to lie, bro. The relationship is over once it's like one-sided.
The reason why I thought this was very interesting and I wanted to put a little tidbit right here is because as a mature married man, the response that LeBron James had to that question is very telling. Because he said when it's really over, as in, you know, alluding to the fact that relationships go through ebbs and flows. There's going to be, you know, parts in the relationship where you feel like you might have had enough or it might have been too much or whatever the case is. And so, you know, he's, you know, differentiating between the...
Hey, I'm not married, so... You know what I mean?
Terminology of somebody who was dating and not used to being in such a long-term commitment like a marriage, and also setting the tone of, you know, the difference that you're going to go through things in marriages and you might feel like it's overwhelming or too much, or you might want it to be over, but knowing that that's not truly the end of the partnership.
I feel. And don't y'all think it's odd how you could be really into somebody and then off them the next day? That's crazy. See, that is the scary part about love.
But off them like forever, or you just saying off them for that day?
You're gonna have your ups and downs.
You're gonna have it. If you're in a relationship.
Again, this is something that people who are going to be married have to understand, because there has been this facade of this picture perfect imagery of marriage. And that is one of the grandest demises of marriages of all time, is the
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Anticipation of what people believe it's supposed to look like, what it's supposed to be.
Like this Hollywood movie, get married and we'll be happy 24/7 for the rest of our fucking lives. I don't think it's going to be like that. I mean, I think, you know what I mean? I think, you know, that, I think people just have that idea that it's supposed to be forever happiness. I think that's just movie, you know, brainwashing. They brainwash people to think that, you know, y'all get what I mean, bro. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Entail. And, you know, you have two people who are coming together, forming a union. You have your own background. They have their own background. Certain, you know, things that you've learned and picked up and observed from other people around you and them. And so there's going to be times that you are going to bump heads. And you might have, you know, fluctuating feelings. Feelings are fleeting. But you have to make sure that you are aligned in purpose with somebody who understands that you guys are in this for the commitment and for the long haul of the relationship.
Like a lot of people, though, get off people quickly. Like, they be so into you and then they be like, okay, I'm done.
Well, they weren't into you.
Yeah.
They probably wasn't into you that much in the first place.
You can't look at it. You can't think like when you look in the mirror like, damn, what did I do?
Oh,
it's them. No, I'm just saying anybody in general. Like, can't be like, what did I do? Like, if they get off you that fast, then it was never meant to be in the first place. So
I love that she, you know, brought this question. I mean, this
good point. Good point, LeBron.
To the conversation, because she's saying, like, you know, there's some people who they see who are, into somebody at one moment, and then, they're quickly, uninterested. And he's like, well, obviously they weren't really that into you. And also, just to piggyback off of those two things, there's also people who are addicted to the representative. They're addicted to the fun, the butterflies, the thrill, the excitement of somebody new and not knowing. And then once it starts to plateau into a comfortable, peaceful space, they go back and they're chasing that beginning flair with somebody new, somebody fresh. Like you do have people who have those situations. And just as LeBron said, obviously, number one, they weren't that into you.
Yeah, they was probably never interested in you in the first place.
And number two, that's a them thing. You can't always internalize it to yourself. Now, if you are a person who is...
I think part of it is, part of it is, the guy's fault. You know what I mean? Like, or the partner's fault. Like, part of it. I don't, you know what I mean? I wouldn't say, oh, it's entirely their fault. They just don't fuck with me anymore. I guess in that case, that's on them. Like, you just don't fuck with me. You just don't fuck with me. You messing out on me. That's tough for you, baby girl. Let me stop.
Having that same,
I don't know what I just did right there.
Time and time again, I would say that would be a space that you need to self-reflect. Because although it could be a them problem, it could also be a you problem.
Yeah, it could be both sides.
Are you giving to them that a lot of people are treating you in that same...
That's pushing them away. Like, what energy are you giving out? Are you being desperate? Are you being, you know what I mean? Is it your lack of confidence? Is you not as, you know what I mean? Maybe find a new position. Maybe not just do missionary every night. You know what I mean?
Exact fashion. Maybe it's something that you're doing.
You can get off somebody for the day. You get off somebody for a couple of weeks. That's what relationship is all about. Y'all go through ups and downs, but like getting off you so in deep with somebody, and then you like, the next day you wake up, you're like, oh, this shit's trash. That's crazy.
Again, he's talking about the reality from somebody who's married, right, for a very long period of time. Somebody who has multiple children with his wife.
Hey, I was married to that nigga for 30 years, so I said, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want to be with that nigga no more. I'm done with that nigga. He lame as fuck. You know what I mean?
And all these things.
5 kids with him.
Even in the space that he's in, he's bringing so much clarity, not only to the young man on the panel, but also to whoever is watching, of like, this is the truth of what it really entails. And this is a natural flow of marriage. Don't start panicking or think like this is normal.
Ladies, listen to the king. Did you hear he say, look in the mirror and say what, king? Tell the ladies, because they need to hear.
You gotta look in the mirror and say it's not me.
Yeah.
It's
the ladies need to hear that.
Now, this is so interesting because, he was making a generalized statement. Right? And there's men talking and there's women talking. He made a generalized statement. And, she was saying something as a woman to him, and he was responding back to what she said about somebody being on you and off the next. She was talking about herself, really. And so she then internalized his answer.
I mean, you could tell that LeBron's wife 100% has fucking respect for him. I think that's part of the reason why they're still married.
Answer and say, that's obviously...
I think people forget, like, you gotta have some respect for yourself. You can't just, get in a relationship with a guy or a girl and then, you get what I mean. Like, you can't, you know what I mean? Like, you come off with a desperate vibe, you're just gonna push away people. You know what I mean? Like, if you come off like you don't have respect for yourself, you won't. That means that you're not ready for a long-term relationship. That's just what that means.
That's a then problem. And now she generalized the conversation to women. And so she's like, okay, ladies, y'all heard what he said. It's not you. It's these men out here. And, when he decided to answer that, I think she was a little taken aback because she was used to the conversation of maybe the pandering to women or the fluffing women up and, not, holding women to any kind of standard or any regard or holding women accountable, And so she was kind of like going in that direction, and he definitely quickly shifted gears.
The men too. Yeah. The men too, because it's some cutthroat, ruthless ass out here right now too. Yeah.
She said, hold on a second. Get me some pearls so I can clutch them. Okay? She so quickly clutched her pearls, not only because of him also targeting the conversation to men having to look them themselves in the mirror and say that it's not them, but also for the terminology that he used in describing a lot of these women out here.
Listen, I see a lot of, I'm in locker rooms and shit now, but it's a lot of women out here that's now kind of flipped the script.
They go for it.
And some homies out here that's trying to be good too, and just trying to figure it out. And now they looking in the mirror saying, "Damn, what did I do wrong?" Homies, it ain't you.
I'm not gonna lie. He said he's been in locker rooms, and then there's some really good.
I'm gonna be honest, like NBA, NFL, rappers, they are the most, like, a lot of them are simps, bruh. Like, from the shit that I be seeing, like, a lot of these NBA players, these NFL rappers, they're simps, bro. They're dead ass simps, bro. They, you know what I mean? They don't have real game. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them don't.
Good men out here, and all of a sudden these women are flipping the script, and you have these really good men who are looking around saying, well, what did I do
Well, look at Zion Williamson.
wrong?
Travis Hunter.
You can't tell me, okay? It would have to be LeBron to tell me, like, hey, I really was not talking about him. But it would have to be LeBron alone to look me in my face and tell.
Maybe he wasn't talking about, Steph Curry. You know what I mean? I think he was just generalizing everybody in general. Like, he might have thought about Steph Curry, but you know what I mean?
He is not talking about Steph and Ayesha Curry. Sorry. I could be being a little bit presumptuous. I could be making my own educated guess. He did not.
I think the topic just came up and he just gave his piece on it. I'm not gonna lie.
Clarify and call names, but based off of the climate of conversations that is going on right now, currently today. I don't know when they filmed that, but even still, this ring
is my boat. Okay, I'm hallucinating. Thought my goatee was going sideways.
Of the Ayesha and the Steph Curry, where it seems like this man is a good guy, stable man, faithful man, family man, and it's still not enough.
I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be career girl, and that's it.
So you end up meeting your now wife when you guys were 14, 15 years old in a church group. You end up starting to date when you're in college. Why get married so young?
Why waste time if you found the right one, right?
After we got married, we found out we were pregnant with our daughter so quickly. I didn't even have time to think about what I wanted anymore.
Ooh. Like I said, like I don't, technically, I mean, she kind of is disrespecting because she could keep this personal. She didn't have to come out and talk about this situation. I don't know what she thought she was doing talking about this out in public. But I mean, the problem with I noticed with these NBA, NFL rap and these rappers, they a lot of them really don't have game, and they don't really know how women. Not all the women are the same. That's not what I'm saying, but how women act and think. You get what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like some guys just don't understand women nature, right? You know what I mean? So, I mean.
I have goals for myself. This doesn't feel right.
I also have to say that I think that in a lot of these conversations about Ayesha and Steph Curry, a lot of people believe that.
You could tell that Steph Curry has not have had, you could tell he didn't have a ton of experience with women growing up. You know what I mean? I mean, he grew up in the church, faithful. They met each other, I mean, I get that, but, I don't know. Like I said, I feel like Steph Curry just doesn't have that experience. He doesn't truly understand.
It's only because of Ayesha Curry and people are hating on her, or people just don't want to see her doing good, or because she's just a woman who's telling the truth. And that's not really what it is. I think the point of the matter is that, men alone are witnessing situations that they can relate to. Doesn't matter how large or how different the scale is. Mm-hmm. They can relate to being in relationships with women and doing as much as you can and her being okay with it. And then all of a sudden she wakes up, she's not okay with it and still complaining over what exactly? A lot of men can relate to that in dealings with women. So it's what do you want for real?
I mere's my thing is I mean, I don't know.
I now too have the same questions the late great DMX once had about these. What do they really want from
all of the things that Ayesha Curry,
attention?
Kind of was complaining about in the podcast?
I think a lot of it, she just wants attention. I think that's kind of, you know what I mean? She's not getting the attention that she subconsciously desires.
Yes, she is actually leveraged in a position to be able to do all that she wants to do and then some.
Yeah.
And more than that. She has nannies available. She has resources available. She has, I think, like, some Michelin star restaurants.
I'm going to be honest, like, she might not be the brightest tool in the shed, though. She might not have ever thought of that idea ever in her fucking life. She might have never thought of that.
She has cookbooks. She has the ability to do way more than what she's doing. The only thing that it could be is that her name is not as big as his. That's the only thing it could be. I don't see.
I mean, that can be part of it, but I really think just Steph Curry just has no fucking game, bro. He does not turn her on. He has no game. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. I think a lot of it, like, yes, sometimes it's just beyond your control. Some people might just not fuck with you, but the nigga might genuinely just have no game. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Steph Curry going to be doing good. I think he going to grow and learn from this. You know what I mean?
See how it could be anything other than that.
I feel like people do need to hear.
But I think there is some truth to that. She's obviously doing it for attention. Like, why are you going out putting this? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? She's surrounded by people like Jada Pinkett Smith and shit. Like, come on. Like, I mean.
That, because I feel like a lot of times the fear of being alone or growing feels so foreign, especially for men of color, that they just shy away from it and do what's easy. But what's easy typically is toxic.
So I definitely agree with what she's saying, right? I definitely understand the angle in which she's coming from. But I think there's a caveat to that conversation where, men don't just stay because it's easy. Men often don't get support if they decide to leave. Okay, a woman can be the problem in the relationship and she leaves a relationship and people will blame the man. A woman can be a victim in the relationship and they're still going to blame the man. So women have a lot of support, resources, people who are going to take her side if she decides to initiate the divorce.
I'm not taking sides. They're, you know what I mean? They're both the fucking problem. That's what you know what I mean?
There's no sides. In the relationship, if she cheats, whatever it is, women get a lot of that support. Men don't have that same situation. Men are more community based, right? And so everybody's gonna kind of like, man, you took this responsibility, man. You're not supposed to leave your responsibilities out there. Like, men are held to a different standard, and it does lead them in that toxic, kind of cycle. Sometimes way longer than they should necessarily be there. So I understand what she's saying, but also it's not just a space that men are in, sometimes because they necessarily want to be in there. It's that they don't have an out, that they've seen that men have created that out and been successful at that. It's normally always gone left. It's a rare cause where men can leave situations and, have the strength alone to move through or push through without everybody else's support. And that's a very factual and actual truth.
I know I don't want to be alone. That's for damn sure. If I got to fight, claw, scratch, fight, whatever to keep mine, I got to keep it. I got to do what I got to do. I don't want to be alone. I'm an only child, single parent household. I knew for sure.
I love what LeBron said here, and you know why? Okay. Because this is something I tell women all the time. Is that when you are in the vetting process, you need to get with somebody who wants what you want. Okay. And not trying to force people to want what you want, but by their actions, by the things that they're...
Yeah, you could tell she didn't want it, you know what I mean? And Steph Curry was probably pushing it. Because, I'm sorry, the nigga might, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, but, I don't think Steph Curry really understands how, you could tell he doesn't really have that much experience with women. Like, you could just tell, bro. The fact that he got married to a girl who clearly does not respect him, right, is a red flag. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, there's, you know what I mean? There's, like, levels to shit. Because if Steph Curry hadn't married her and married someone else who had, similar goals in line, you know what I mean? She would not be dealing with this shit You know what I mean? He would have been able to see the signs that she was showing when they were first together.
Telling you about the conversation that they're having, you need to align yourself. A lot of times people on a whole get into relationships and try to morph people into being something that they genuinely do not.
Stop forcing relationships, y'all. Like, that's what, basically that's just another way of saying that this nigga Steph Curry has no game. You know what I mean? Yeah, like, I'm sorry, bro. Like you gotta see, you know, you got to be able to see the signs, man.
I want to be.
You know what I mean?
That's why I think it's so.
That's part of it. So
to
is
take note of what they're saying, to you know, get to know them for real. And if you know that person, and if you love that person for who they are, and you want to be in that, you know, have that person be in your life for the long haul, great. But don't try to get into that situation with somebody and their core values don't align with yours, and
then you try to change them and try to, oh, look, we can make it work. We can make it work. We can make it work. I got this for you. I got this. I got all this. I got this. I'm a good looking, like, just because you have all the things, that doesn't mean that that's what she wants. You know what I mean? Some women have desires. Like, women have subconscious desires, and if you don't fulfill that as a man, the relationship is just not gonna fucking work out. And you just can't force it. You just gotta move on. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And just find someone who aligns. You get what I'm saying.
Try to make them be somebody else.
She basically just said it out. I mean,
but again, I love that he not only called out that situation, I love that he also, you know, called out women. Okay, again, we're gonna have to replay what it is that he said.
Because it's some cutthroat, ruthless ass out here right now too. Yeah.
And again, I love that he said that. I love that he said that, because a lot of times
it's not just women. Women aren't the only people who do shit like this. Men do the same shit too, bruh. Like, men ain't no better, bruh.
There's so many conversations from men who are married that are, you know, leading to the lines of women of, oh, you know, they're so this and they're so perfect and women can do no wrong and we should be bowed down.
That's that simp mentality. That's these niggas with no fucking game. These niggas have no game. These NFL, NBA players, not all of them, but a lot of them don't have game. They don't, and then they get disrespected, and they're too scared to let go, because if they let go, they're scared about how people are gonna see them, or they're scared of that they might not find another girl, you know, or some shit like that. It's a lack of confidence, bro, when it comes to their dating lives, bro. That's really what it is. And I feel like, you know, the internet and our society has been feeding men, especially, I mean women too, but men especially, lies of how relationships are supposed to work, when that's not how they work in real life.
Out and kissing their feet. I love that he did not lead into that or placate into that kind of conversation.
Because if Steph Curry like feet, he like feet. He might find a woman that like to get her toes sucked. You never know.
Because people
he can
always
definitely
talk
find
about,
another girl.
You know, the beauty of their marriage. And seeing the way that, you know, Savannah moves with such grace and poise, and, you know, she knows her space and she owns her space, you know, and people look at her and admire her in a certain way. Look at the way that her husband thinks. And so then hearing
that's, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I bet you if LeBron James was acting the way that Steph Curry is towards Ayesha, towards his wife, they would be dealing with this same exact shit. I guarantee it, bro.
That a lot of the,
like, LeBron carries himself with respect. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like,
the conversations that you hear out here from these men who are red-pilled or, you know, holding women accountable or whatever, all of a sudden these conversations don't seem so crazy. Because here he is, this man that you look at their marriage in a certain way and you look at her a certain way.
The problem with these red pill niggas is that they're just fucking fake scam liars, and they don't even live the lives that they portray that they you know what I mean, that they say that they live.
And you see that he has an understanding of self-respect for himself.
Yeah, he has that.
Men deserve respect and women deserve respect.
And if you don't get that respect from your partner or from your friends, you need to walk away from him. It's just that simple. You know what I mean? It really just comes down to respect for yourself. You know what I mean? I see it too. I see a lot of guys, they get into relationships, they have this mindset where they think like women are so innocent, it's gonna work out, she's gonna stay with me together. They think that, oh well, we're living together now and we're in a long term, we've been together for a year now, we're gonna stay together for the rest of our lives. That's not how that works, bro. You know, I the next relationship I get into, bro, like, that shit might not, you know, last until the day I die either. You know what I mean? It just what it is. Like, yes, you know, some women, you know, they a lot of the reasons why some women act the way that they do is because they don't have respect. You know what I mean? But for their man, and the reason why they don't have respect for their man is because the men don't have respect for themselves. But it's just that simple. You know what I mean? Like, but as you know, I think a woman should point out the problems of their man instead of holding it in and bottling it for years and not saying anything. You know what I mean? You know, that lack of accountability. Like, part of it's her, Ayesha Curry's fault. She could have left when she had the chance, but she could have left. I don't know. She stayed with him for another 20 years. Like, what do you? That's her fault. That's her fault. Yes, Steph Curry's fault. But if I was Steph Curry, I mean, I'd be like, what the fuck I do? We've been together for 20 years. All of a sudden, you want to say this shit now? And part of it is just that this nigga Steph Curry probably has no game. And he just doesn't, he didn't see the signs, because even when he saw him, he was too in love to you know, to see it for what it was. And that's what fucked up the marriage. You know, honestly, if he had more respect for himself, and I'm not saying he doesn't have confidence in himself or not, like, and when it comes to dating is what I'm talking about. But anyways, that's enough. I hope you have a good breakfast, a good dinner, good night. Video link will be down in the description down below. You can go sub to the person of this video. But, you know, I love y'all, man. Have a good breakfast, a good dinner, a good night. I love y'all, man. Peace.